The producers of Harvesting Happiness podcast proudly present Positively Contagious, the mental health survival kit for the COVID-19 pandemic. Positively Contagious with Lisa Cypers, Kamen, and Andrea Mengele features tips and tools for staying sane and emotionally fit while sheltering in place. Give us 9 minutes or less, and we'll give you smart and simple strategies for your well-being. This is Lisa Cypers, Kamen, host of Harvesting Happiness, and producer Andrea Mengele, coming back at you with a new episode of Positively Contagious. We're talking about how to manage during coronacation. We're actually wanting to give you useful tips and skills that you can employ in your everyday life to make this whole experience a little bit more gentle, a little bit more kinder, and a little bit more happy. We're not being Pollyanna, we're being plain smart. Today we are talking about managing media exposure. So many of us have been glued to the TV, glued to our radios, glued to our handheld devices and computers, trying to consume the next bit of news about COVID-19. And here's the deal. There are reliable outlets from where you should be getting your information, and we will put them on our website. We will share them with you through social media. We are believers and pushing information from the Centers for Disease Control, from Johns Hopkins University, from the World Health Organization. I urge you, and Andrea urges you, to stay away from these crazy posts that appear in your inbox or pop up on your screen telling you that it is a doomsday scenario. Yes, things are difficult. Things are challenging. They will get better. There is a pathway to this illness, and it will end at some point. So let's talk about some strategies for putting ourselves in time out with media. Andrea, what you got for us?
Well, first of all, when you see a headline, read the whole article.
Yeah.
Because headlines, by and large, can be sensationalized. They are put there to grab our attention and make us read. But you need to read the whole article, because although the headline might have a smidgen of truth to it, it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, definitely. Read beneath the headline. And, all of the news outlets, every single one of them, even the ones that you may deem as the most trustworthy, they are there to make money on advertising. Yes, they are there to inform the public, but their first job is to also make money for their agencies. So you might not be getting the full story, like Andrea says. So, my recommendation is something that we are trying to do in our house. And I have to say, I am the news junkie in my household. My partner and his aunt, they're like, turn it off. Let's put on a movie. And I'm like, but. So I have to put myself in time out. So maybe you give yourself, 15 minutes a day in the morning, so you see what's happened overnight. Or maybe you give yourself another 15 minutes again in the evening, so you see what's coming down the pike for the setup in the morning. I don't know. I would love our listeners to share with us what they're doing to manage this. This is a sticky topic. How about you?
I'm in the same boat as you. My husband and I are both kind of news junkies, but we've been limiting our exposure because it just ends up being the same thing regurgitated in a bit of a different way. And it's not necessarily the best thing for our mental health. I want to know the facts. I want to know what's going on, but I don't need it in my face all the time. I need a break.
Yes, we do need a break. We do need life to be able to go on. That life is not coronavirus. Life is on, school's in session kind of thing. And this is part of our daily challenge that we need to deal with. We can't run from it, but there are so many other elements to the day that still take precedence, putting food on the table, making sure our kids are doing their lessons, making sure the elderly are taken care of, making sure the laundry's done.
Yes, keeping things clean and tidy, maybe taking advantage and doing a little decluttering, and organizing, freshen something up with paint.
Yes. And, I think that one of the reasons why we are so attached to the media is the fear of the unknown, right? And the fear of the loss of control. That when our base doesn't feel secure, talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that when we don't feel safe and secure and protected, it's pretty hard to do anything else. And it's sort of this feeding frenzy, right? Like we want it, but we don't want it. We want to know, but then we don't really want to know. So limiting the exposure is super important. Believe me, if there was something really catastrophic that happened, that handheld device of yours would be lighting up with an alert, because that's what happened in San Francisco.
Yes, absolutely. And something else that I see and I understand, because human nature is what it is, but some have a need to be the first to report something. But the first thing that comes out doesn't always have the most accuracy. So we have to be watchful of and mindful of what we're actually taking in as being 100% fact.
Yes. I think the governors of the various states, when they have their press conferences, it seems as though, to me, and I'm only going to share my own view on this, that they are trying to present the most constructive and helpful and soothing kinds of information possible, even though the news is not very good. So that may be another area to pay attention to. I don't know what your experience has been with that, Andrea.
I've noticed the same as well. And, I live in Southern California, so of course Los Angeles is our main city here. And, the mayor yesterday did a press conference, and he had the heads of several of our large grocery store chains there, and they were all very calming and reassuring because, of course, supply chain has been a concern. And they were talking about, supply chain is fine. We are figuring out how to get things out as expeditiously as possible. And, oh, by the way, we know that this has affected a lot of people in work, but we're hiring like crazy right now because we need more help. All hands on deck.
Yes.
So looking for the opportunity.
Yes, and this goes back to an earlier episode where we talked about financial uncertainty. The country needs workers, and not just workers that are going to go out and into the field and be exposed. But there are a lot of stay-at-home positions. And so the fear mongering that's going on about the stock market and going into a recession, or not just a depression, beyond recession, into depression, and that we could have 20% plus unemployment rate. Yes and no. It depends upon if you're willing to stretch and grow, right, and do something different.
Yes, absolutely. And there are a lot of work from home opportunities, depending upon where you live, of course, because state regulations do vary. But I just saw something this morning that was put out by Amazon where they are hiring for 40-hour-a-week positions that are telecommuting. They're customer service positions. Now, you have to live in certain states because of laws, but I want to say they're hiring 10,000 or more as of the moment.
Yes. So the bottom line is put yourself on a news diet, do yourself a favor, collect the data maybe once or twice a day, and stay away and go do something that brings a little bit of happiness to yourself and your family. This is Lisa Cypers Kamen and Andrea Mengele with another episode of Positively Contagious, wishing you to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay humorous. We'll be back with another episode of tips and strategies for managing coronation. Thanks for joining us on this special episode of Positively Contagious. This is Lisa Cypers Kamen and producer Andrea Mengele signing off for now. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive. Don't forget to tune in for our regular consciously prepared brain food on Harvesting Happiness, wherever you get your podcasts. To learn more about Harvesting Happiness consulting services, please visit harvestinghappiness.com. Get social with us on Facebook at Harvesting Happiness, on Twitter at HH Talk Radio, and on Instagram at HH_Talk Radio.